One thing that you see quite often as you travel around Mexico, especially in more rural areas, that is maybe not quite as common in the US, are shepherds tending their flocks of sheep or herds of goats. Actually, I don't recall ever having seen one in the States. But in Mexico, along many highways and byways, you will come upon this interesting scene. A large group of goats, for example, large and small, different colors, scattered along a stretch of highway, all chomping and chewing on the roadside vegetation, grass, weeds, bushes, and leaves. Somewhere nearby, you will a person standing watch. Sometimes it's a young boy, sometimes an old man, or anything in between. Sometimes there is dog who assists in the shepherding. The animals are not tied up, but are free to roam in search of something to graze on. But they seem to stay together. The shepherd doesn't actually seem to do much. He is just there, leaning on a stick, or sitting on a rock in the shade of a huizache or mesquite tree. But the shepherd is actually working. He knows exactly where every single one of his flock is and what they are doing. Likewise, the flock knows exactly where their shepherd is. When it is time to move on to greener pastures, the shepherd moves and the flock follows him. Sometimes he will yell out a word or a sound or a whistle to indicate when and where for the flock to move. Sometimes there will be a straggler who lingers behind, too engrossed on munching something to move with the flock. If he doesn't respond to the hoot or yell, the shepherd may pick up a rock or stone and throw it in the direction of the lone sheep or goat. That is usually all it takes for the animal to jump up and scamper back with the rest of the gang. Or the good shepherd dog will bark at the straggler and chase him back to where he belongs. Sometimes a sheep or goat will wander onto the highway, or get stuck in the mud, or get tangled in some barbed wire. The shepherd is there to rescue them. I have watched these interactions on several occasions and have been amazed at how a boy and a dog and an occasional stone can control the movements of dozens of loose animals. No fences, no ropes, just the voice of the shepherd and his dog. How were they trained to be so obedient? Maybe the sheep or goats obey because they know the shepherd will take them to where there is plenty of food. Maybe they understand that he is there to protect them and provide for them. I wondered what would happen to the herd if the shepherd was not there. Would they all stay together by natural herd instinct? Would they wander across the highway without the watchful guiding eye of the shepherd to help them cross over safely? Isaiah wrote that, "All we like sheep have gone astray, each of us has turned to our own way." We do not naturally follow our good shepherd. Our tendency is to go astray and follow our own path. The psalmist wrote, "He is our God and we are the people of his pasture, the flock under his care. Today, if only you would hear his voice." Jesus said in John chapter 10, "The sheep listen to his voice. He calls his own sheep by name and leads them out. When he has brought out all his own, he goes on ahead of them, and his sheep follow him, because they know his voice. I am the good shepherd. I know my sheep, and my sheep know me." I am so thankful for our good shepherd and for his having chosen us to be part of the flock under his tender, loving care. Do you hear his voice? Thank you so much for listening to this true story from Memoirs of Mexico. If you enjoyed this story, or if it was a blessing to you, please feel free to like and subscribe to my channel. That would be a blessing to me. I upload a new true story every day. If you like to read, you can also order Memoirs of Mexico in paperback or ebook on Amazon.com. There's a link in the description. Thanks again for listening.